Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me this week. Let's go there. And today we have Sarah Hardy. And why is Sarah here today, besides the fact that I'm a huge fan of the jewelry she creates? Um, Sarah is an amazing human being and she has gone through so much. I'll let her tell you how much during the course of this interview. But more importantly, we don't. Okay, so what? Let's back it up. Back it up. And what's the topic today? The topic today is about misdiagnosis and how often do we actually question the doctor? We take them as the experts and health is one of those things, right? The doctor say X and then you're like, okay, all good. I mean, you won't question it because they're the expert. They've spent years in medical school. So why would you? And also there's a little bit in our head, as soon as we get the news that we want to hear, we just take it at face value. So that a little bit of onus on us, but a lot on them. So while I go ahead and do my tech things that I hate, Sarah is going to tell you a little bit about herself, about her business, which I love, and what is so special about her business, though. That will show you why she is so special to me. Okay, go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, thank you. That was such a beautiful introduction. So I started my business just over a year ago, and the real point of it was I wanted to start a business that I was passionate about and that meant something to me, which, isn't that much rocket science, really. I guess everyone wants to do that. But I sort of started thinking about ideas for business, and what I came up with is that my best friend and I have always given each other earrings. So we've been best friends. Danielle and I have been best friends since we were 11 years old. And we're fortunate enough at 42 to still love each other, which is a great feat in itself.
That's it.
We've lived in the same places, different places, and we've always given each other earrings, because earrings are something that if you know somebody, you can know enough about their personal taste to choose them for them. They fit really easily in the post. And I think for me, jewelry is all about generosity. So that's where the foundation of the idea of Deserved Luxury came from. And I also wanted to have a business that was about giving to yourself. So Deserved Luxury is like, it sort of started on that premise of gifting to somebody else, but also that, what do I call it? Like generous self-love, like generously giving yourself love, because, it's not an essential thing. I don't agree with that, really, because I think jewelry is essential to me.
Essential, all right? Get the story straight. Jewelry is essential.
But you're not going to die if you're not wearing jewelry. But for me, jewelry is what completes the outfit. It completes the look, and it makes me feel whole. So that's where jewelry comes in. It's a part of the expression of who you are, what you choose, to put onto your body. If it's earrings, like you're literally putting it into your body.
That's right. So Sarah, tell us a little bit about where you source your jewelry, because that is the amazing story that I love.
Yeah. So when the pandemic hit, my good friend Agung, who started as my driver in Bali. So Bali is my happy place. I go there before the pandemic every year, once or twice a year. And I've used the same driver for the last 7 years. It was longer now because there's this been period where we couldn't go. Anyway, Agung contacted me and said that he couldn't get... he didn't have any business and would I write a review for his website? And of course I did that, but I just thought that's not really going to help him. So what could I do? And then I had this kind of crazy idea. At the time I was sourcing my jewelry from Turkey and India. And while I love the pieces from Turkey, I didn't find as many good pieces in India, unfortunately, because I couldn't go there to check the quality. I came up with this idea: if I learned how to design jewelry, then Agung could be my liaison in Indonesia, and he could actually, find the gemstones, find the pearls, and then find the amazing makers to make the jewelry, and that's what we've done.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, so now
Tell us. So no, besides this, Sarah, she's not giving you the whole story, I think, because she is absolutely humble. And when I heard her story, I was blown away. The beauty of this story is that she wanted to support him because life was difficult. And
yeah.
tell us about how you pay him.
Oh, so yeah, so I pay him like a day's driving wage whenever we have a little thing that we need. So if I send him, so I sent him to Lombok, paid for him his transport to go to Lombok to find pearls, and he was so excited about that because it cost 70 Australian dollars, which is a lot of money for them to go over. So he got to go and see all his friends, and like he loved it. And but I loved it as well because we go on WhatsApp video, and then I get to see him pick all the beautiful pearls. So even if it's not like a day's work, I just pay him, yeah, like a day's driving wage, so that I'm helping to like supplement the income that he's not getting.
Yeah, that's right. So this is about fair trade. This is fair trade at its best. I think at the entrepreneur level, you do what you can. This is how fair trade looks like. And I love it. I love the whole model of it. But today, we are not just here to talk about Sarah and her amazing work ethics. We're here to share about her private life. So just start from the top.
Sorry, one thing that I want to say that I should have said before.
Okay.
And I know you're running this show, but the other thing that's super important, I think this is really important to say, is that so I pay a gung, obviously, and try and pay him, a really hopefully generous wage. He's pretty happy. But the jewelers as well. Like, so I come up with a design, I buy all the gemstones and the pearls, and then I basically say, how much do you want to make this? And whatever they want is what I pay them, because I know at the moment they're hurting. And so I think that's important to say as well. So it's the whole process is really important to me, that it's ethically priced. Sorry, I thought I should just get that bit in there, because
yeah, absolutely, take over my show. Just take it over. No, this is very, very important. And because, come on, let's face it, I used to love, I say I used to because I'm planning to change where I buy my jewelry, because I plan to buy it from Sarah. I used to be a huge fan of Tiffany's. And why? Because of the brand. Let's face it, look at me. I'm Asian. I'm a brand whore. So, but the quality you get is just not going to come close to what Sarah makes. And she commands that price because she has got people to feed. She's got people to support. So that's it. Let's go back to the main topic.
Okay. Yeah.
So tell us from the top, what exactly happened to you?
Yeah, okay. So when I had my daughter, I was 29, and they did some blood tests, and it turned out I had Hashimoto's, which is when your thyroid, for me, my thyroid wasn't working, and hemochromatosis, and that's when you have high iron in the blood. So at the time, they were really worried about the Hashimoto's, and in fact, they wanted me to go straight into hospital because it had completely deteriorated. And I was saying things like, how are you still moving and how are you still functioning? Aren't you like tired and all the rest of it? I'm like, oh yeah, no shit, I just had a baby. Like, of course I've put on weight, because all the symptoms for that disease are the same as what happens to you after your body has just, extracted a human out of it. So we got that under control, and then I went to see the hematologist. So he's the blood specialist, and he was just like, yep, nah, I don't want to see you until you go through menopause. And like you said earlier, the onus is on me to like sort of listen to my body or to do further research. But as a 29-year-old woman who just had a baby, who'd had this other medical condition that, we really were having to take care of at the time, I was like, great. Yeah. I happily wash my hands of that and not come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so that was all fine. But around 4 years ago, I started getting really sick. And when I say really sick, it was like this, corporate go-getter that I was. I'd work really long hours, always in quite intensive target-driven sales environments. I suddenly started really struggling. So I had no energy. I had migraines all the time. I was calling in sick all the time, and I couldn't do what I'd normally do. And I just didn't understand what was wrong. So my doctor was checking all sorts of things, and I was going to my endocrinologist. So that's the person that looks after your thyroid. And she was checking everything, testing for everything. Anyway, it turned out that she was like, "Oh, you've got hemochromatosis. What's going on with that?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't have to worry about that till menopause." She's like, "I think you need a second opinion." So then I went to another male hematologist who basically dismissed me as well and said, "Oh, compared to a 55-year-old man, you're fine." And, you start kind of feeling like they think you're a hypochondriac,
Mm,
or like it's all in your head.
yeah.
But it's not normal to have migraine. Like I have a headache every day. Like every day of my life, I have a
Oh
headache.
no.
But now that I have treatment, I don't get the migraines as often, and my fatigue is under control. And if I start feeling fatigued, I know I need treatment. But back then, I wasn't having any treatment, and like I was just being dismissed and told there was nothing wrong with me. And even my husband said, just looking at you, you didn't look well. Like you could
Yeah.
see in your face that you weren't well. So I was really fortunate that the endocrinologist, my female endocrinologist, she just got the shits in the end, and she really advocated for me. And she called him while I was in her office, and I have no idea how she got onto him, because that's pretty unusual, like that
Yeah.
you get a specialist on the phone. And he started talking, and she said, 55-year-old man and blah, blah, blah. Does she look like a 55-year-old man to you? And after that, I went into his office again, and he said, "I'm going to show you why you're not going to get this treatment." And so he plugs all my information into the computer, and it's like the computer comes up approved. And he's like, "Oh no, well, something must have changed." Anyway, he does this 3 times, and it keeps on saying approved. So this guy's meant to be one of the best hematologists in Canberra, and he'd stuffed up because he didn't see people like me. So what he was used to assessing for, and what the textbooks assess for, because
Mm,
most of the studies are done on men, on the male anatomy,
yeah.
I wasn't that. So
Yeah. So
anyway,
explain to us what does approve means.
oh, okay, yes, sorry. So what it means is to treat the type. So there's a couple of different genetic markers for hemochromatosis. So some people can have it and it doesn't really affect them, but I've got two of the markers. And what it means in my body is that the iron in my blood stores in the organs and damages the organs. And so what had happened is, now I've got like damage to my pancreas. So I've got diabetes, I've got damage to my gallbladder, and damage to my liver. And that's all happened because my body's been poisoning itself
Mm.
um, for all this time. So to treat that, what they do, it's pretty simple. You go to hospital and they have this revolting big needle, and they take.
Oh, yeah, I hate needles.
I don't like them either, but I like how I feel after. And they take 600 with me. They take 600 mils of blood out of
It's a
me.
lot. Do you know that's a lot of blood?
Well, yeah, this is why when he said you menstruate, now I know more about it. I'm like, you don't lose that much blood when you have your
No,
period. So
Jesus.
it's weird to me that I think it's just because not many women, it's like women have it, and I've met more women than like, and I think, and most of them don't have any issues now. When they go through menopause, they will need some form of treatment, but the way it affects me and my body is damaging my organs. So it's quite significant.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I went through for about 18 months. I had that done every 4 weeks. And now the longer it actually like expands out in time. So yeah, it's amazing actually. The body is so amazing that taking this amount of blood out of me, I'll feel whacked for about 24 hours because you're really tired. but then I feel like a different person. And my husband again says my face changes. Like he's just like, oh my God, you just look, bright and
Yeah.
like,
Wow. How
yeah,
amazing. Out of curiosity, though, so the blood that they take out from you,
yeah.
can it be given to someone else or it's no good?
They throw it out. So there's stuff in it that's no good, but I
Ah,
think that the plasmas probably would be good, but they don't use it, unfortunately. So
mm,
and I like, you can, some people have it done at the Red Cross, because I've now got the diabetes, the Hashimoto's and the hemochromatosis. I have it done at the hospital just in case, like, there's any issues, there's doctors there, because with the Red Cross there's just nurses, but not just nurses are fucking amazing, I should say. And Penny, my registered nurse who does all my venesection, she's phenomenal. I love her. Like, she actually manages my care just as much as my new female hematologist. They have this really great care plan for me, in that they actually allow me to listen to my body. And when I feel like I'm not feeling very well, that's when I have to have a blood test every month, but I choose when that blood test happens. And I
yeah.
choose it around my energy levels. If I've been having migraines, or if I've got that fatigue where you're just so, exhausted, bone tired, then
Mm,
I'll go to get my test. And then I call Penny and she can book me in. So we have this really beautiful system of shared care between my specialist and the registered nurse, Penny, who, let's face it, she sees people like me, or maybe more men, but every day. So, yeah.
I know. It is. I know you don't give yourself enough credit. You are a nice person. That's why people are nice to you. So just putting it out there. Now, knowing what you've done and the purpose of these conversations that we have is to give people a solution. So,
Yeah.
what would you tell people to do?
I think my advice, well, I know my advice is for all women, and men, but younger women. I think trust yourself. So, like, gut instinct is a big thing, and women, they talk about women's intuition. We actually really do have a lot of intuition and understanding, but we also do so much. So, we're like the sort of the heart of the household. We are, either you're a working woman, or you're a stay-at-home mother, or you're looking after elderly parents. We've got a lot of hats that we take on. And so I know for me, the reason that it took so long, even though I was following medical advice, it took me a long time of feeling like absolute fucking shit before I went to get help or got anyone to investigate it, because I was just like, I don't have time for that. But
Yeah.
actually, you need to make time for it, because when you get really sick, what happens then? Like, who does all of that stuff that you do for your household if you're in bed unwell? And that's what ended up happening. Like, I was spending periods of time where I just wasn't getting out of bed. So I
Mm,
think trust your gut and trust your instinct. That's the first thing. Then the second thing is, when you go to, because the first protocol is your GP, if your GP doesn't listen to you, go to another one. So that person, especially as soon as you've got a health problem, if you're someone who's really healthy, I guess you don't value that relationship. For me, that Dr. Gregory is a fundamental part of my life, because she makes sure all my different things are checked off, and holds me to account as well, which is pretty amazing, because I should hold myself to account, but she's good at keeping me on track. So if
yep.
you need that, also change. So, like, there's certain skills we all need from our different health professionals. So find the one that matches what you need. And then the next layer is the specialist. So if you get to the point where you have something that you need a specialist for and they don't listen to you, get another one. And that's really hard to say in Canberra, especially because, and I'm sure there's other places, but Canberra has a shortage of specialists. So the wait periods are really long. So
Mm.
generally you're waiting like 9 months to get into
Oh, wow.
one.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's a real problem. So like when I changed hematologists, it took me 9 months. Like it took me 9 months to see
Oh
the
my
first
God.
guy. And that's why I kept on giving him a chance, because I was like, well, it's taken me so long to get to you. You were meant to be my answer,
Yeah.
but you're not giving me any. You're just telling me to go away.
Yeah. Disgusting.
So yeah, so they're my major things. First, listen to your gut. Secondly, make sure that you don't just put it on the back burner because you've got all this other shit that you need to do, because the other shit can't happen if you're unwell. If you don't have the right fit with your GP, and whether that's you need someone who's empathetic, whether you need someone like mine who's empathetic, but she also will keep me on task, find that connection because that's important. And then fourthly, if you get to that specialist and they're not listening to you, even if you just put yourself on a waiting list for another one straight away, if you've got to wait a while, it's worth doing, because now I have this really neat, like little triage of people who help me, and I'm so healthy and happy, and that wouldn't have happened if I didn't change, I don't think, or I didn't have an amazing endocrinologist who really advocated for me.
Yeah, that's amazing, because you're right. I mean, if you had to wait another 9 months, it's still nothing compared to years though that you had to suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still nothing. And this is the thing, see, a lot of people they don't give themselves enough credit, because we give the expert credit. And unfortunately, although they are trained as doctors, it doesn't mean they have the compassion to be a doctor.
No.
So you need to take care of yourself, because their job is to apply textbook theories to you.
Yes.
They cannot be emotionally invested. They just see you as a subject. It has to be that way. If not, they're not going to survive this. But it is so, so important though. That's why we're here to tell you, the minute you feel something is not right, you get out there and get a second opinion.
Yeah, 100%. And just remember that just because they haven't seen what's presenting in you doesn't mean that's not real, because they hadn't seen what was presenting in me, because women like me are not in the textbooks. So you might not be in the textbooks, but that doesn't mean you're a hypochondriac or it's all in your head.
Yeah, that's right. You know something is not right. And only you know your body.
Yeah.
And you need to trust it. And Sarah's right. So before we go, I just want to say this, though. We do push ourselves very hard. We just I'm guilty of it. I push along because it's true. We don't have time, or we think we don't have time. But if we were to stop for a moment and take care of ourselves, we're actually creating more time in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, that's why self-love is so important, or self-care, or whatever you want to call it. Whatever floats your boat, make some time to do it.
Oh, all right. So with that, we're going to end this conversation. I hope you've gotten something out of it, though. I mean, Sarah had to go through a lot so that today she can be here to share her story. So, and her biggest takeaway is, don't ignore what your body's telling you, and don't listen to just one single expert. Maybe just to be safe, always get a second opinion for something serious. I'm not saying, you got a little cut and you go to another. No, not that. Something serious, and something's not right. And the people who know you best, like husbands, family, when they say, no, you're still not good, it's time to listen.
Yeah.
So with that, we're going to say goodbye, and thanks for watching us again. And next week, we'll be back with someone else with a very interesting topic. Bye.
Bye.